West Ivy's in the house today with Curtis. Can't wait to go over some stuff. I know you probably have seen us on video a lot in the last couple years, but I wanted to dummy down with Curtis today on home inspections and what the importance it is for a home inspection, because I think a lot of buyers, I even have sometimes think, why do I even have to have this home inspection? I can maybe use another inspection. That comes up a lot too, that I'd like to touch on. Somebody already got an inspection on this maybe a few months ago. It dropped out of escrow. Why do I need to get another one? Always get another one. Like, get your own inspection. So let's talk, Curtis, about the importance of just a home inspection and maybe why you even got into this whole job, this career.
Yeah, so in general, the purpose of a home inspection is to identify defects prior to purchasing a house, or if you just want more information about a house overall. As a home inspector, we're not a contractor, so that we don't specifically inspect only the roof or one particular thing. We're a generalist. So we look at the overall house as a system, and then from that point, we will guide you into whatever the defect is. Is the defect in the property the roof? Is it the plumbing? Is it the electrical? So you're spending money on one person who can inspect the entire house and point you in the right direction on what you need to be repaired.
Okay.
So
on that note, you inspect the roof, you inspect everything. On top of that, what else can you do? Or are they add-ons? Or, because I know you do like pools and mold, and talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so we do ancillary services as well. So we do pool inspections. Sorry.
It's okay.
Give me a minute, guy. Oh, man.
They got yelled at. We got kids in the house.
Did you start? The kids are.
Yeah.
That's all right.
Yes.
Hi, Mom. That's okay.
I'll tell them not to come this way.
That's okay. Go ahead.
So we do ancillary services as well. So we do pool inspections. So a lot of the properties here in California have pools. So we'll inspect the surface of the pool, the equipment, and let you know if you need a new pump or need it to be resurfaced. We also do mold inspections, where we will set up an air scrubber where we take samples of the air, and then also we can swab a surface, and we'll send both of those collection sources to a lab. At that point, they'll let us know if it's mold or not, if it's harmful or if it's not harmful. Another service we provide is the sewer scope. So the main drain going from the house to the main city connection is prone to have a lot of problems in California, either root intrusion or just overall age. It's one of those systems that can get pretty pricey, anywhere from 20 to 30,000 even up. So it's really good to spend the $250 to have someone put a camera in there and ensure that it's in good working order. So,
I have a question about that.
yeah, for sure.
So is it true that, hence maybe our house, is it better to leave the house as is if you're not going to sell it or you're not purchasing a house? Do you leave and not do a scope? Or let's say somebody like ourselves who may have had a house for 20 years and always curious about, does it need scoped? Do you leave it alone? Because I've heard kind of.
I would definitely scope it before I sell the property, just so you know what you're getting into. You can actually uncover a lot of hidden damage, and then that way they could price the house accordingly, knowing that there's going to be a $20,000 fix needed, so they can either take that off the price or whatever it may be.
But what if you're not going to sell the house ever?
If you're not going to sell the house ever, I would. I would scope it.
Do you bother like the?
Oh, got it. So there's two.
Can you make a problem out of something that maybe you could have gotten away with?
There's two different things that we could talk about when it goes into like the main drain.
Yeah.
If you do the scoping, that's simply where you put the camera down to see what's going on. The second thing is a jetting. So a jetting is where you put high pressure water to clean out the pipes.
Right.
That could be a problem.
Okay.
If you have really old corroded pipes, if you put high pressure water, it may cause damage. That may be a problem.
Okay.
So you may want to scope it first to see the condition.
Got it.
If it's strong enough to handle a jetting, then jet the pipes at that point.
I always wonder that.
Yeah. So do you need it jetted all the time? No. Only if you're having a clog
Intrusion
or
or something.
yeah, or an issue there.
Got it.
But yeah, I would scope it, but not jet it
Okay.
unless you have to.
Okay. So let's talk about, I think let's back up on when you first started doing this and why you have your, what do you call that? Not your quote, but your,
Oh,
what do you call those?
what would you call that?
Because I have it too. That
like
you're
a
saying.
slogan?
Yeah, your slogan. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Slogan? Yeah, so my slogan is another good reason to have a home inspection. So when I first started home inspections, I was pretty new when I came up with the slogan. I think I was doing it for about a year or so, and I went out to this brand new development. There was two houses side by side, and I'm inspecting one house, and then the neighbor comes out and he asks, "Hey, I just got this house. I just moved in as well. I see this guy doing a home inspection. Like, do I really need a home inspection? I mean, these houses are brand new."
Yeah.
And my answer at the time was, well, the house is brand new. You're going to have a warranty for 12 months. So if you run across any defects, you can just, let the builder know and they can take care of it. So he goes back in the house. I start my inspection, and this had to be like the worst fucking house ever built. I get inside
Those
of the
new builds are some not good. Yeah, yeah.
yeah. So I get inside of the attic, and they cut the roof framing to accommodate the HVAC unit. So when you cut the framing, you have to reinforce it wherever you cut
Sure.
it, and they never did that. They never reinforced it.
God.
Then, as I'm going through the house, I found a couple leaks under the sink. That's something a normal person would find. The other thing that I found is like towards the end of the inspection, I'm giving my wrap up, I'm telling all the things that I found, and I saw this strange puddle of water in the garage that I hadn't seen earlier. And I asked him, like, "Hey, did you waste water here?" He's like, "No, I didn't waste water." And I was like, "Where is this water coming from? Like, I didn't run it, you didn't run it. Like, where's it coming from?" Come to find out, inside of the garage wall from upstairs, one of the pipes wasn't glued together properly.
Oh, God.
So when you run the water, it just all wasted or spilled out, and it drained out the wall, and it just made its way into the garage. So I went over everything with the moisture meter, found it in the wall with the thermal imaging camera, and after that, I always said, like, another good reason to have a home inspection.
Yeah.
Because at that point, I really understood the importance of a home
Yeah, I
inspection.
feel that even with the new builds, the builder, like let's say it's for 12 months.
Yeah.
I know with you told me like, hey, make sure I come back out at like the 11th month, right?
Yep.
So talk to me a little bit about that.
Yeah, so we call it like a 12-month warranty inspection where we come out, take a look at the property, see if anything has popped up between the time you purchased the house and right around that 11th month mark.
Yeah.
And, oftentimes that's where we find some leaks underneath the
Mhm.
sinks, and then some of the things that maybe didn't show themselves initially
Yeah.
in the home inspection. And I know a lot of times the builder will provide a sheet for you to fill out and submit, but it just makes it a lot more clear when a home inspector goes
Well,
and
and
look at-
professional.
and professional,
Yeah.
yeah. Because we're looking at the HVAC unit, the water heater, all of those things that may have
Yeah.
had issues that the layperson wouldn't really.
And then they would take that and then get a hold of the builder and say, hey, I did another inspection.
Right.
So it's so worth that $500, let's say, give or take a little bit of money to get that, go back to the builder and say, hey, I have these leaks, I have this stuff. And you're spending, and here in San Diego, I mean, you're spending a lot of money, especially for a new build, because we don't have just new builds pop up every day, especially in the city of San Diego.
Mhm.
So that I think that's so important.
Yeah.
And there's been other ones that I've had, and I'm sure you've done them for me, but they literally are built like shit. I
Mhm.
mean, seriously. I mean, you probably remember, like, there's like the mirror is not even matched up with like the lighting in the
Right.
bathroom. You're
Oh,
like,
yeah.
what the hell? I mean, there's so much blue tape. Like, it needs to be walked through.
Yeah.
well.
And a lot of times when it comes to a new build, it depends if it's a large builder or a small
Uh-huh.
builder. Sometimes if it's a small custom home, you can run into a problem because they start to run out of money towards the end and they start
Uh-huh.
to cut corners. I've seen
Right.
issues instead of using like proper shims, they use popsicle sticks to like shim a gate.
Seriously?
Yeah, it was a popsicle stick to shim a gate.
Oh my God.
I've seen them use like just a piece of a can to frame the foundation. Like, so some of that was still there. They need to pull off. So a lot of corners are cut when
Yeah.
when it's a small builder. And then on the flip side, there's a lot of corners that's cut when it's a large builder because of the foreman often gets switched halfway
Uh-huh.
through. So they'll go through 3 or 4 foremen, and then you have a lot of the trades that aren't talking and
Yeah.
communicating with each other, right?
Yeah.
So the plumber is like, hey, I'm just here to install the sink.
Yeah.
I'm not here to worry about all the caulking and all that stuff. That's someone else's job. So you'll have a lot of things falling through the
Right.
holes, and then that's where we come and put everything all together and then just give you a comprehensive report of like, hey, these are the things that need to be addressed.
But what I also like with your business too, and the guys that work with you, is like you'll be able to not just go through. So let's say a buyer can't make the inspection at the
Mhm.
end, right? Because a lot of times it's in like the middle of the day and they actually work,
Right.
so they can't make it. So you'll do it online, or you'll do it on like Zoom, or you'll
Mhm.
talk to them. Talk to me a little bit about that.
Yeah, so it's extremely important for the buyer to hear the findings of the report from the inspector.
Mhm.
A lot of things in the report are really scary,
Yeah.
and to read those findings may think, man, my house is falling apart, right?
Yeah.
When initially, if I speak to them on the phone, I'm like, hey, the house looks good. These are the main concerns. But when you look at the report and you actually go through line by line, there's a lot of defects that's found. And it's really good to hear from myself or my employees to say, like, no, this is common. It's just caulking that's needed. Or this is common on an age specific
Mhm.
home or home your age because this was prior to code or something.
And they get freaked out with that. I feel like a lot of buyers feel like, well, it's not up to code right now, and this is what I want. I want this fixed. But
Right.
then you have a lot of sellers who are like, yeah, kick rocks. I've lived with it this long. I'm not going to upgrade your panel because it's a different panel that's not really great.
Right.
So there's a lot of that back and forth, and that's where I think a good a real estate agent comes in and is able to negotiate, a happy kind of medium there,
Right, yeah.
because there is a lot of that, right? By
It
code.
is. Yeah, codes change pretty much every year. Something as simple as the garage door opener
Right.
by code now needs to have a battery backup.
Right.
Where 2 years ago it didn't. Well, 3 years ago it didn't need a battery backup.
Right.
So something like that may show up in the report, and someone may be extremely concerned
Yeah.
about it, but you live like that
You
your
don't
entire
even know
life.
that's not code.
Yeah,
Right.
you live like that your entire life.
Right.
So
Right.
now it's just something else additional to kind of help you out.
Yeah.
So
I love it.
yeah.
Okay. Well, here's Curtis, and we are going to talk more about investors on our next video. So stay tuned on that, because this is going to be another good video. All right. What's your slogan?
Another good reason to have a home inspection.